Let me tell you something. When a woman walks away from you, when she hurts you, and you finally decide to pull back, something interesting happens. At first, she may act like she doesn't care. She might even seem happy, like she's moving on. But give it time, because one day, she's going to remember. She's going to remember the way you treated her, the way you were there when nobody else was, the way you made her feel like she was the most important person in the world. And suddenly all those moments will come rushing back, hitting her harder than she ever expected. And that's when the regret sets in. That's when she starts questioning her decisions. And before you know it, she's reaching out. But why? Why do women always come back after they hurt you? See, it's human nature. We don't value something until it's gone. And when you stop running after her, when you stop giving her your energy, that's when she starts craving it. That's when she realizes that no one else is giving her the same feeling you did. But let's break this down, because there's more to it than just missing you. At first, she's going to act like she's fine. She's going to pretend like life is good, maybe even start dating someone else. But here's the truth. The excitement of something new doesn't last forever. Eventually, she starts comparing. She starts realizing that what she thought was better isn't. And when that happens, she starts questioning her choices. She starts replaying memories in her mind. And that's when the regret hits. That's when she starts to wonder if she made the biggest mistake of her life. Listen carefully. Your power isn't chasing. Your power is in walking away. Because when you disappear from her life, when you stop texting, when you stop trying, that's when she notices. A woman always expects a man she hurt to still be available. She thinks you'll always be there waiting. But the moment she realizes you're not, that's when panic sets in. That's when she starts to wonder if she lost something truly valuable. And here's the thing, people want what they can't have. When you stop giving her attention, she starts craving it. That's just how human psychology works. Even if she left, even if she acted cold, even if she told you she was done, emotions don't just disappear. That bond you built, those deep conversations, those moments where she felt safe and understood, those don't just vanish overnight. And let's be real, if you were a good man to her, that's even stronger, because she's going to go out there and realize that not every man operates the way you did. She's going to meet men who don't listen, who don't protect, who don't care the way you did. And when she realizes that, that's when she starts looking back. Now, let's get real. Not every woman comes back because she truly misses you. Some come back because they want to see if they still own you. She wants to know if she can still call you and get a response, if she can still text you and pull you back into her world. Because if she can, it gives her validation. It makes her feel like she never really lost you. But this is where you have to be strong. Because if she's only coming back to test you and you let her in too easily, she's going to leave again just to see if she can do it all over. Let's be honest. Women are attracted to growth. The moment she sees you leveling up, working on yourself, hitting the gym, making money, focusing on your goals, that's when she starts paying attention again. Because now, you're no longer the same man she left. Now you're better, now you're stronger, and that scares her. Why? Because she realizes that you never needed her to begin with. It's a tough pill to swallow. And suddenly the thought of another woman benefiting from the man you're becoming, that's a reality she can't handle. See, when a woman leaves, she's chasing excitement. She's chasing a new thrill, a new feeling. But guess what? That thrill wears off. And when it does, she starts craving comfort. She starts missing the stability, the familiarity, the way you made her feel safe. And that's why she comes back. Not necessarily because she loves you, but because you represent something safe in a world that's constantly changing. Here's where you need to think. If she hurt you, if she walked away, if she disrespected you, why would you give her the same access to you? See, a high-value man doesn't just let people walk in and out of his life. He sets standards. He understands his worth. So when she comes back knocking, you need to ask yourself, is she returning because she genuinely cares? Or is she returning because she lost her options? Because at the end of the day, the choice isn't hers, it's yours. And sometimes the best revenge isn't taking her back. Sometimes the best revenge is letting her watch you become the man she never thought you'd be without her. At first, she's going to act like everything is fine. She'll post pictures, laugh with her friends, maybe even jump into another relationship. She's going to do everything to convince herself and the world that she made the right choice. But let me tell you something, that feeling doesn't last. That confidence, that excitement, it starts to fade. Because here's what people don't talk about. When you walk away from something real, there comes a moment when reality catches up. And when it does, regret is waiting right around the corner. See, regret doesn't hit immediately. It takes time. It's like a slow burning fire that starts as a small spark. At first, she's caught up in the newness of being single or with someone else. She's distracted. She's convinced she's moving on to something better. But then, little by little, things start creeping into her mind. It starts with small reminders. Maybe it's a song that comes on the radio, a place you both used to go to, a moment when she laughs at something and instinctively wants to tell you, but realizes she can't. And that's when the shift begins. The more time that passes, the more she starts to remember. And not just the surface level stuff, but the deep things. The way you were there for her when no one else was, the way you made her feel safe, the way you supported her even when she didn't appreciate it. And that's when she starts to wonder. That's when she starts to question if she made a mistake. See, people always think they have options. They think that just because something is available today, it'll always be there. But life doesn't work like that. And she starts to realize that no matter where she looks, she can't find that feeling again. She can meet new people, have new conversations, go on new dates, but none of it feels the same because what she had with you wasn't just about attraction, it was connection. It was real. And when a woman realizes that what she walked away from was real, that's when regret hits her like a ton of bricks. Now, here's where it gets interesting. She may not admit it right away. Oh no, she's going to fight it. She's going to suppress those feelings. She's going to tell herself that she made the right decision. She'll keep herself busy, try to distract herself, convince herself that she's better off. But late at night, when there's no one else around, when it's just her and her thoughts, that's when she feels it the most. That's when the doubts start creeping in. That's when she starts replaying the way she left, the way she treated you, the way she didn't appreciate what she had. And that's when regret turns into something stronger. That's when she starts reaching out. Maybe it's just a simple text. Hey, how have you been? Maybe she finds some random excuse to check in. Or maybe she waits, hoping you'll reach out first. But deep down, she's hoping for one thing, that the door she closed isn't locked. But here's the thing. Not every woman who regrets leaving wants to come back for the right reasons. Sometimes she just wants to ease her own guilt. She wants to know that you're still there, that she didn't actually lose you. And this is where most men make the mistake. They confuse regret for genuine love. They think that just because she's feeling sorry, it means she's ready to be different. But regret alone isn't enough. Because regret can make someone miss you, but it doesn't mean they've changed. It doesn't mean they won't hurt you again. That's why when she starts to regret losing you, when she starts coming back around, you need to ask yourself one question. Does she miss me, or does she miss the way I made her feel? Because if it's the second one, then you already know how that story ends. Your power isn't in chasing. Your power is in walking away. Because the moment you disappear from her life, the moment you stop texting, stop checking in, stop making yourself available, that's when she notices. And that's when she starts to feel your absence in a way she never expected. See, most people take what's in front of them for granted. They assume that just because something has always been there, it always will be. But when you pull back, when you step away, when you show her that you are not an option she can take for granted, it creates a shift. It forces her to sit with the reality that she is no longer a part of your world. And that's where the panic sets in. Because she assumed you'd always be there. She assumed that no matter what she did, no matter how she treated you, you would still be an option. But now she sees that you are no longer waiting. She sees that your world continues without her. And that realization shakes her. This is human psychology at its finest. People don't chase what's easily available. They chase what they fear losing. And when you remove yourself, when you stop chasing, when you reclaim your energy, that's when she starts to question everything. That's when she starts to want what she once overlooked. But it's not just about missing you. It's about the loss of control. Because let's be real. If she hurt you, if she walked away, she probably felt like she was in control of the situation. She felt like she had the upper hand. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop engaging, that control vanishes. Now she's the one left wondering. Now she's the one feeling uncertain. She'll start looking for signs. Maybe she'll check your social media. Maybe she'll ask mutual friends about you. Maybe she'll send a casual text just to see if she still has access to you. But make no mistake, she's not doing this just because she misses you. She's doing it because she wants to know if she still has you. And this is where men make mistakes. Because the moment she reaches out, they respond immediately. They think she finally realized what she lost. But in reality, she's just testing to see if she still holds power over you. And the second you show her that she does, the cycle repeats. She gets the validation she needs, and suddenly she's gone again. That's why your absence has to mean something. That's why when you walk away, you do it with conviction. Because if she truly values you, if she truly regrets losing you, she won't just test the waters. She'll make it clear that she wants to be in your life. So remember this, your value isn't in chasing. Your value is in showing her that once you're gone, you stay gone. Because that's when she truly understands what she lost. She thought she had you figured out. She thought you'd always be there, always waiting, always ready to take her back the moment she decided she wanted you again. But here's what she didn't expect. You changed. You leveled up. You grew. And now you're no longer the man she walked away from. See, most people operate under the assumption that time stands still, that people remain the same. When she left, she believed that you'd sit in that heartbreak, that you'd stay stuck in the pain, that you'd be too broken to move on. But what she didn't see coming was your transformation. At first, she didn't notice. She thought she could just go about her life, do what she wanted, and then come back when it was convenient. She thought she had time, but then something happened. She saw a different version of you, the version that no longer needed her validation, the version that wasn't chasing, the version that had built himself into someone greater than she ever expected. Maybe she saw it through mutual friends. Maybe she caught a glimpse of your new confidence, your new energy. Maybe she saw that you were no longer longing for her, no longer broken over her decision. And that is when the regret hit her hardest. Because now she's not just missing who you were, she's missing out on who you've become. And this is what she never anticipated, because in her mind, she thought she held all the power. She thought she was the one making the decision. But when she sees you thriving, when she sees you glowing without her, that's when she starts questioning herself. That's when she starts realizing that she might have made the biggest mistake of her life. See, women aren't just attracted to a man for how he makes them feel in the moment. They're drawn to potential, to growth, to power. And when she sees that you become the kind of man that every woman wants, that's when she understands that she doesn't just miss you, she lost you. That's when she starts looking for ways to come back. Maybe it's an innocent message, a casual, hey, hope you're doing well. Maybe she starts showing up where she knows you'll be. Maybe she starts liking your pictures again, hoping you'll notice. But here's where you have the real power. You don't have to let her back in, because the truth is, when you grow beyond who you were, you start seeing things differently. You start realizing that the woman who walked away isn't equipped to handle the man you've become. And suddenly her return doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like a test to see if you're really as strong as you've become, or if you'll fall back into the same patterns that once held you back. And this is where most men fail. They think that just because she's coming back, it means she's changed. But let me tell you something. Regret isn't the same as growth. Just because she regrets losing you doesn't mean she's ready to treat you better. Just because she misses you doesn't mean she values you. So now the choice is yours. Do you allow her back in knowing she only came back because she realized what she lost? Or do you continue moving forward knowing that your future is too valuable to be handed back to someone who didn't see your worth the first time? She thought she had time. She thought she could hurt you, walk away, and that you would still be there whenever she decided to return. But what she didn't realize was that while she was out there living her life, playing her games, you were changing. You were evolving. And now you're no longer the same man she left behind. See, when a woman knows she has power over you, she takes her time. She doesn't rush back because she assumes that no matter how much time passes, you'll still be standing in the same spot, waiting for her. That's the illusion she lives in. The belief that her presence in your life was irreplaceable, that you could never move on without her. But then something happens. One day she checks in. Maybe she scrolls through your social media. Maybe she runs into an old friend of yours. Maybe she just gets curious. And in that moment, she expects to see the same man she left, the man who was still hoping, still waiting, still broken over her departure. But instead, she sees a new man, a man who no longer looks at her the way he once did, a man who no longer seems lost in the past, a man who has grown beyond her. And that's when it hits her. That's when she realizes she made a mistake. It's not just that she misses you, it's deeper than that. It's the realization that you are no longer accessible, that the door she thought would always be open has now closed. That's when the panic sets in. Because now she's not just losing who you were, she's losing who you've become. This is when she starts finding reasons to reach out. A simple, hey, how have you been? A random excuse to start a conversation. Maybe she reminisces about the past, hoping to spark something inside of you. But what she's really trying to figure out is, does she still have a hold over you? See, it was never about whether or not she liked you. It was about control. When she left, she believed she had the upper hand. She thought she could walk back into your life at any moment and pick up where she left off. But now she's realizing that she miscalculated. Now she's seeing that you don't need her anymore. And nothing scares a woman more than the realization that a man she once had has outgrown her. Because in her mind, you were supposed to stay the same. You were supposed to be stuck in that heartbreak. You were supposed to be waiting for her to return. But now she sees that you've leveled up. And that's when regret starts creeping in. Now she wants to know if she still has a chance. Now she wants to know if you still have feelings for her. Now she's doing whatever she can to get your attention. But here's where most men make the mistake. They see this as a sign that she truly cares. But the truth is, she doesn't miss you. She misses the control she once had over you. She misses the version of you that put her on a pedestal, that made her feel like she was the center of your world. And the moment you let her back in without making her prove herself, she wins. That's why the real power lies in continuing forward, in knowing that when a woman comes back, it's not always because she loves you, it's because she realizes she lost her grip on you. And once you understand that, you'll never look at her return the same way again. She never expected to miss you. She never thought for a second that she'd regret walking away. In her mind, she had it all figured out. She thought you were just another man she could replace, another chapter she could close without a second thought. But life has a funny way of humbling people, doesn't it? See, when she left, she was certain she was making the right choice. Maybe she thought she could find someone better. Maybe she thought the grass was greener somewhere else. Maybe she just wanted to explore her options, convinced that you'd always be an option waiting in the background. But what she didn't realize was that you were the real prize. At first, she didn't notice the difference. Maybe she was caught up in the excitement of something new. Maybe she was distracted by the attention of others. But slowly, reality started sinking in. She started to realize that not every man is built like you, that not every man moves with the same energy, the same integrity, the same presence. And that's when the regret starts creeping in. She starts comparing. She starts looking at the men around her and noticing that something is missing. Maybe they don't treat her with the same level of respect. Maybe they don't protect her the way you did. Maybe they lack the confidence, the drive, the vision that made you stand out in the first place. And suddenly, she starts remembering you. That's when she starts testing the waters. She sends a small text just to see if you'll respond. She asks mutual friends about you. She watches your stories, hoping you'll notice. But what she's really doing is checking to see if she still has access to you. Because let's be honest, if she really valued you, she would have never left in the first place. If she truly appreciated who you were, she wouldn't have had to lose you to recognize your worth. But now she's realizing that while she was out looking for something better, you were becoming a man that's too great to ignore. And here's the real truth. It's not love that's pulling her back. It's loss. The loss of the stability you provided, the loss of the energy you carried, the loss of knowing that no matter what, you were there. And now that you're not, now that you've moved forward, now that you've become stronger, that's when she realizes she made the biggest mistake of her life. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Does she deserve the man you've become? Because the truth is, the version of you that she left is not the same man she's coming back to. You've grown, you've evolved, you've leveled up in ways she never imagined. And the real power is in understanding that her return doesn't mean she's changed. It just means she sees your value too late. And now the choice isn't hers anymore, it's yours. She thought she had you forever. She believed she could hurt you, walk away, and that you'd always be there, waiting, hoping, ready to take her back the moment she decided to return. But what she didn't realize is that time changes people. Pain forces growth. And the man she left behind, he doesn't exist anymore. See, when she first left, she felt powerful. She felt like she was in control because she believed you needed her more than she needed you. She thought she had options. She thought she could do better. And maybe in the beginning, she was enjoying her freedom, feeling untouchable, feeling like she made the right choice. But then something unexpected happened. As time passed, she started to notice something was missing. She started looking at the men around her and realized that they weren't built like you. They didn't carry the same confidence, the same leadership, the same energy. They didn't challenge her, protect her, inspire her the way you did. At first, she brushed it off, told herself she'd find someone who could replace you, but deep down she knew. She let go of something real, and that's when the regret set in. At first, it was just a thought, a small moment of reflection. Then it became more frequent. She started replaying memories in her mind, remembering the way you looked at her, the way you spoke to her, the way you made her feel safe, valued, and wanted. She started checking your social media, hoping to see signs that you were still thinking about her, still missing her, still hurting, because as long as you were hurting, it meant she still had control. But then she saw something that shook her. You had moved on, not just physically, not just dating someone new. No, she saw something even worse. You had healed. You had found yourself. You had become a better version of the man she once knew. You were no longer waiting, no longer stuck in the past, no longer the man she thought she could manipulate. And that's when her fear kicked in, because now she wasn't just missing you. She was missing the version of herself that you made her feel like. Around you, she felt special. She felt important. She felt like a queen. And now seeing you thriving without her, it forced her to realize the truth. She was the one who lost. So now she starts creeping back in. Hey, how have you been? Texts. A random reaction to your story. A conversation started out of nowhere. But what she's really doing, she's testing the waters. She's seeing if she can still get a reaction out of you. She can still pull you back into the past. But here's what you need to understand. When a woman returns after hurting you, it's rarely because she suddenly realized your worth. It's because you realize your own worth. And nothing shakes a woman more than seeing a man she once had become untouchable. Now, the question isn't whether she wants you back. The question is, does she deserve the man you've become? Because the moment you take her back without making her prove herself, you give away all the power. And once you understand that, you'll never look at her return the same way again. So now the choice is in your hands, not hers. She may come back, but that doesn't mean she deserves a second chance. She may regret losing you, but that doesn't mean she's changed. What you have to ask yourself is this: does she deserve the man you've become? Because the truth is, you're not the same man she left behind. You've grown, you've healed. You've leveled up in ways she never expected. And that's the real power. The moment you realize that her return isn't proof of your worth, but proof of her mistake, you take back control. You don't need validation from someone who walked away. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The only thing that matters is that you know your value now. And once you do, you'll never let anyone make you feel replaceable again.